Thank you. Amen. We are honored this day. We are truly blessed this day to have a distinguished guest speaker. And her name is Reverend Alicia Leslie. And she's been coming here for the last 2 or 3 years or so, off and on. And so we've taught. She introduced herself, and she is a Unity minister. She was ordained in 1982 as a Unity minister, and she offered her services to us and to me as the minister. And she and I worked together on a couple of projects. And so when I was thinking of Mother's Day and the lesson and the service, I said, well, maybe, just maybe, I should have a Unity minister who is a mother to share and to bring the word to us this day. So she is here. And Reverend Alicia has served churches in Indiana, Texas, Virginia, and Connecticut. And in 2011, she retired from the traditional church and moved her ministry online. She is also an author of children's stories and articles published by Unity magazine, and she has published 2 novels of her own, Green Grapes on Silver Platters and The Secret of Sweetwater Stream, which are both metaphysical and inspirational. And I should add that we have them in our bookstore as well. Reverend Alicia is currently working on a non-fiction book on metaphysics in our daily lives. And that book is called Rise of the False Gods. You can see Reverend Alicia on YouTube, or you can also visit her online at www.spiritofunitychurch.org. And now let's give a rounding welcome to Reverend Alicia.
Reverend Saba, thank you so much for inviting me. I am just so touched to be here. You know, it's really hard to be a retired minister, because when you are and you sit in church and you watch someone else preach, you know, it's like, you want to be there. But I come because I like to listen to him and good messages. But today we're going to talk about mothers. And yes, I am a mother, but we're not talking about that mother. We're talking about Myrtle Fillmore, the mother of unity. The title of my message today is A Mother's Love. Now, those of you who are mothers and have had mothers know that there's something about a mother's love. It's always there. Today, I could have had many choices in my jewelry, I'm sure, but I wore the equivalent of the macaroni necklace, because my granddaughter made it for me many, many, many years ago. She has now made me a great-grandmother. But that's what a mother's love is like. You know, and if we even look at how God loves us, the way that a child is loved by their mother, God loves us so much that we give them little macaroni or plastic bead, jewelry, and it's a treasure, right? I would give up whatever jewelry I do have for that macaroni necklace with the little beads. The smile's upside down, but that's okay, because when I look at it, it's right side up. In a song this morning, Mother Mary comes to me at Let It Be. That's another way of being a mother. You see, mothers represent the loving and nurturing, whereas fathers represent the providing and protecting. And yes, they do cross over, and yes, we do all have it inside of us. But with the song, Let It Be, Mother Mary comes to me and saying, there will be an answer. Do you find sometimes in your life you're going I can't figure this out? Well, all else has failed, I guess I'll have to pray about it. Kind of backwards, but it's what we do. The other day my granddaughter was driving, we were coming back from doing a little shopping errand, and someone behind her in traffic beeped at her. And she got so mad. And I said, it's not about you, it's about her. And what words did I use? Let it be. Let it be. And metaphysically, that let it be is so important because, you know, we manifest by the combination of our thoughts and our feelings. So if we get into negative let it be emotion, what we're going to produce is not going to be good. So that we get, and I hate that some people, I don't know if you've ever heard anybody say that the song Let It Be is not about Mother Mary. It's about drugs. It's not about drugs, okay? Listen to the lyrics. It's not about drugs. It's about having hope and about the motherly essence, the love of God. Well, Myrtle Fillmore is called the mother of unity. You always hear about Charles Fillmore, Charles Fillmore, Charles Fillmore. But Myrtle started it, okay? She did. Now, when Myrtle was younger, she was very spiritual. You know, you hear that thing, I'm spiritual, not religious. Well, she was both spiritual and religious. Because, though, that she wasn't traditional in her thoughts, she was considered odd, weird, and, you know, I don't know, any of you guys considered weird, you know? I've been considered weird all my life. Well, I got news for you in just a minute. Some people said that it was like she came from another planet. Well, she didn't come from another planet. She lived on another plane.
Amen.
And it is a plane that is accessible to all of us. And she found out one day, like I discovered, I am not weird. All my life I thought I was weird. Well, I'm a little short, you know, purple hair. But I found out that I am not weird. I am unique. And I hope you realize that most of you that are in here today are quite unique to the traditional religious spiritual community. You're on another plane, not planet. And that's okay. Don't get excited. That doesn't make you better than anybody because God loves all the kids the same. But it does make us awake. And when we are awake and from our plane of love, we can shine our light as we were told and touch the lives of others. The lives that Myrtle started this teaching with her healing. Myrtle Fillmore for us is a wonderful role model. So if you don't know much about Myrtle, order Myrtle Fillmore, Mother of Unity, if you don't have it in your bookstore now, or The Torchbearer, or The Story of Unity. All have a lot about Myrtle in it. Myrtle was clearly Christian and eclectic. She saw God everywhere without drawing lines. And that's where most of us are, aren't we? We see, I always tell people, unity sees the truth in all faiths. And we follow the path of Jesus and practical Christianity. But if you haven't heard the Dalai Lama say something that wowed you, you know, but what the Dalai Lama says is in alignment with what Jesus says. So you can be eclectic. It's okay. You can be Christian and eclectic. And in unity they call that practical Christianity because we look at the teaching and how they practically affect our lives. Myrtle and Charles met, and when he met her, it was at a poetry reading, and she'd shared something she'd written. And he said, "That is going to be my wife." Now, Myrtle never agreed that that was that way for her. It took her a little while, but after all, she was 9 years older than him. When they met, she was in her early 30s and he was like 22 or 23. It's kind of a big difference. But they had an amazing and lasting marriage that went through their entire lives until Myrtle made her transition. But they took time to really get to know each other, and they knew something. They had a connection through God, because both of them were very spiritual and both of them were eclectic. I don't know if you know, but Charles Fillmore was born on an Indian reservation. So he's got a little bit of that Native American spirituality going for him too. In Unity, we call Charles Fillmore the head of Unity. Very intellectual, very hard to read. We call Myrtle the heart of Unity. And you need both a head and a heart, the male and female energy, to really create something wonderful. Now, the way that Charles and Myrtle created their ministry, it wasn't through hierarchy. We are the founders. We have it all. We have the education. Matter of fact, they were very opposed to that. And everything in Unity was so warm and familial that they called Charles Papa Charlie, and they called Myrtle Mama Myrtle. So it's Papa Charlie and Mama Myrtle. They were like parents of the movement. Now, as a mother, for those of you that are mothers and have mothers, you know that love will go through whatever it has to, which is what the Unity movement did. Now, Myrtle tended to stay in the shadows. She stayed in the background, and Charles stayed out in front and did the preaching and a lot of writing and stuff. But you do know what they say. Behind every powerful and successful man is what? A good woman. And Myrtle was a good woman, and with a powerful teaching. Now, Charles, I don't know if you, a lot of us, I don't know if you've read about it, but after being in this all these many years, you get familiar with them. Charles kind of liked jokes. He thought jokes were good. Some of the jokes he told were not so good. And they would sit on a platform, which was closer than this, so it would be like this. And Charles would start to tell a joke. And if Myrtle didn't like that joke, she'd reach over and tug on his jacket and say, okay, enough of that. So how is it that Myrtle was the real start of this movement? First of all, she was very frail and ill all her life. They said she had inherited tuberculosis and at some point contracted malaria. They really were giving up on her. Now, because both Charles and Myrtle were spiritual seekers, they did a lot of investigating and studying and preaching all together. And one day, Myrtle, the doctors gave up on her. They said, it isn't going to work out. And she went to a metaphysical seminar by E.B. Weeks. Mr. Weeks said something that changed her life in that minute. He said, you are a child of God, and you cannot inherit illness. You are a child of God, and you cannot inherit illness, disease. She took that home with her, in her heart, in her mind. And she talked to Charles about it, and she said, I want to work with this really, really hard. So what she did is she locked herself in a room for hours every day. And it took 2 years to achieve her healing, hours every day, 2 years, and she studied the healing scriptures of Jesus. Now, usually I like to weave a scripture into my message, but you can't with this because she embraced and studied and ingested and assimilated these healing things. And she was healed. And Charles said, well, look at that. Now, Charles, from an accident and a diseased hip and leg, had a withered leg. So he kind of, limped around and everything, and then he, she can do it. And so he really went into depth with his studies and everything, and prayer and meditation. And he had read a lot, and he said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go direct to headquarters. How many times do we go to our friends? I got this problem. Can you help me out? Go to headquarters first. You can get verification from your friends, but go to headquarters first. There is, in the Bible it said that when Jesus died on the cross, that the big curtain that was between the Holy of Holies and the average people in the synagogue was torn open. And that message is, you can go direct to headquarters. So I invite you to think about doing that when you have a problem. So Myrtle did get healed. She focused on that. Now, one of the issues with this is a lot of people will hear, oh, Myrtle got healed of tuberculosis and malaria, and that's how Unity got started. But what they think, they don't really get, what does it be like hours every day for 2 years? We can say, I sat in the silence for 15 minutes, I talked to God and nothing happened. What if we were to spend just as much time praying and thinking about God as we do worrying and focusing on our problems? What kind of thought is that? You see, what do we teach in Unity? Where the mind goes, energy flows, and manifestation follows. So if your mind is going to worry and fear, can you get healed eventually? I think so. There used to be a commercial on television for some kind of cleaner or something, and it said, won't budge, dried on egg yolk, won't budge. Some of you remember that, I can tell because you're laughing. But that's how we have to sometimes attack our negative thoughts. You gotta just keep going. It will eventually budge. A lot of people find Unity, and we don't do, well, they say, and it's coming around more, they say, oh, we don't do rituals in Unity because they're just outside things. Well, I came from a Catholic background. I'm not a recovering Catholic, for those who might think that. I am a transition Catholic. I went on to my own path. And so you look at people with their beads. You watch people with their rosary beads. I want to tell you why rosary beads are a good thing. Because when you're really troubled, especially, and you go back to something and you're not in the place. Were you ever in the place where you can't let God take it? Yeah. That repeated prayer, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. That repeated it's getting out that dried on egg yolk, getting out of that negative thought that has to go. We can do this just as Myrtle did. Now, I had a healing one time. It was in my leg. I had 4 years. I'm not kidding. I used to dance and be a dance teacher, and it was Middle Eastern dance. I'm not going to say the word because you'll think something different, but it was. It was a story of life. But I got this really, really bad thing in my hip. And it was like I couldn't slide into the car. You have to get in and swing around. And it was getting so bad. Like, this is true. The day before this particular seminar I went to, or workshop, whatever you want to call it, I was thinking about trying to go to the doctor and get put in traction for a while. I thought, maybe that'll do it, just take it and put it out of action, see what happens. Then I went to this workshop, and there was, most of you probably aren't old enough to know this, but there was a thing called breath work, electronic breath work. This was in the new emergence of the New Age. And you did this breathing stuff, and we had to lay down on the floor, and I'm laying down on the floor, and I'm going, oh, this is really weird. And I still have my Catholic background to deal with, And I'm going, oh, dear God, I know what I'm doing here. Well, the woman has got us laying on the ground and she's walking around and she's talking to us. And as she's talking, my hands come up off the ground. And she walks by and she pushes my hands down. She goes around the circle and my hands come up off the ground again. And she went around and she pushed them down again. I'm not going to let that lady push on my hands. I put them here. I was healed. When I got up, I was healed. Now, to me, I'll tell you what that is. I'm laying there and I'm going, God, this is really strange that I'm laying on this floor and doing this breathing and stuff, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm putting myself in your hands. Whatever this lady says when she's walking around in the circle, I am giving myself to you. Now, the funny thing is, this workshop was a prosperity healing workshop. This had not, my hip, that shows that prosperity doesn't have a dollar sign on it. The woman told me that maybe I should come back to her office for some more treatments or whatever she wanted to do. And I never went back, and my hip stayed healed. So so I know it's possible. Now I got my trusty glass of water because I got this little I picked up a while ago, so I want to make sure I was prepared for it. So it's not like you never get anything again, and because you get something, because you get a flu, because you, I don't know, break something, because something happens that you shouldn't happen to you, it doesn't mean that God's not there and God's working. God is there and God is working even if it doesn't feel good. Even if it feels like, everything has fallen apart. It's another thing. People think sometimes that if it's not working, there's something wrong. That's not the way God always works. I have a great-grandson who I love to smithereens. He's 2.5 years old, going to be 3. He was born he was called a single ventricle child. Now that was hard. At the time, we didn't know what was wrong. He had 2 sonograms, and in the sonograms, the nurse said, geez, that's funny, he must be laying funny because we can't see everything in his heart. Twice, he's born and starts to turn blue. So they say, oh, he must have an infection. Hello, look at the sonograms. But he has had to this date 2 open heart surgeries. Or going to have another one when he's about 35 pounds. And Lord willing, that'll do it for him. Or down the road in his 20s or 30s, he may need a heart transplant. Now, when we went to the hospital, when he was taken from Middlesex Hospital to Hartford in Connecticut, my granddaughter's mother-in-law came running out, and she said, it's bad. It's really bad. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Thank you, Unity. Thank you, Myrtle. Thank you, Charles. I said, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. And what I did was I took, I found a picture of a perfect baby heart, and I wrote affirmations. And when he has his surgeries or procedures, he has procedures as well as surgeries, I did those affirmations. Now, many years ago, I would have said, what if it doesn't work? What if he dies? That's a real possibility. But we cannot let that change the fact that God is working in our lives and everything happens for a reason.
Amen.
It is sticking to it like this. It is not just a matter of spending hours a day in your room in prayer and reading the scriptures and, all that's well and good. It's sticking to it. We got to stick to it. When the going gets rough, we got to stick to it. When life is unfair, we got to stick to it. Myrtle Fillmore had 2 things that really touched me. Of course, they created Silent Unity after her healing. So it was called the Society of Silent Prayer. And if you haven't called Silent Unity, call them. Next time you have an issue, I used to work for them. It's solid prayer, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Only ordained ministers or licensed teachers or prayer workers can go into the prayer room where there's prayers for, they take your prayer and they write it down and put it in a box in the wall and hold it in prayer for 30 days. So I really suggest you call Silent Unity. It's a good thing. Well, after she started Silent Unity, one day she had a vision. And the vision was of a large group of people and many small children, and the children were like a little out of hand. And the word came to her, who will take care of the children? And then it told her, you will. And she created We Wisdom magazine. Excuse me. We Wisdom, unfortunately, is no longer published. I personally think the reason it's no longer published is that they wanted to appeal to more people and took away some of the solid teaching. It kind of watered it down a little bit. So, that's unfortunate. This is what she said. The mission of We Wisdom is not to entertain children, but to call them out. The always entertained is to be dwarfed and dependent. To be called out is to follow the harmonious law of the soul's unfoldment. Who meddles with the rosebud? What fingers are deft enough to pry open that marvel of folded beauty? We are wise enough to leave it alone and follow the glad law of its unfolding. But our children, have we dealt as wisely with these buds of marvelous possibilities? Have we always remembered that they too must quicken and unfold through the innate law of their own genius? Who will take care of the children? How many children do you see every day? You know? They had a thing on TV where they asked these children, what do you do? First they showed older people. What did you do when you were a kid? We ran out, we played in the brook, we looked for bugs, snakes, whatever. And then you see the kids. Well, what do you do? And I watch television. What do you do? Oh, I play video games. And they literally can do it for hours. Who will take care of the children? You will. I will. Whether you're a mother, grandmother, grandfather, uncle, you can have an impact on the children because the children are our future. Now, you know, it looks like Myrtle had this huge bunch of stuff she did, and you wonder, how did she do all that stuff? Where did you find the time? Guess what? Myrtle Fillmore didn't like to cook, so she didn't. Myrtle Fillmore didn't have a kitchen in her house. That's the truth. They lived with her mother-in-law, she didn't cook it. Can you imagine that? She didn't. So think of the time you spend cooking. You know, sometimes I'm on a roll. I'm writing. I want somebody cooking my dinner. I want to stop. Which is not good. You have to stop. But she did wonderful things, ate wonderful food, lived on Unity Farm, which had all kinds of fruits and veggies and stuff. Now this is Myrtle Fillmore's credo, which to me is amazing because I do try to embrace this credo. So important today. To enjoy without possession. To see without coveting. To have without holding. To be without seeming. In short, to be myself without desiring. To know that all of this is for me. For my pleasure. And the satisfaction of my immortal soul. To say that I am the monarch of all I survey. My right to be here is none to dispute. You know those places where you feel like maybe you don't fit in? Your right to be there is none to dispute. To be generous-hearted. What I see, others may see. What I enjoy, others may share also on equal terms with me. Isn't Isn't that beautiful? And I think the most powerful line is to enjoy without possession. Or as I say, to have and not hold. Why do we have to have everything? Why do we have to stockpile stuff? To have and not hold. You don't have to buy it, you can rent it. It's videos. Oh, books. Sorry, I have a book thing, I gotta write in them, so I have to own that, okay? But I've given thousands of books away after I've read them. So I invite you to bask this Mother's Day in the love of Mama Myrtle, who is a weird example, role model for us all to follow, and she is precious. One last word about motherhood. I'd like to talk about our other mother today, our Mother Earth. We must honor and love and respect our mother. So I invite you to the greatest extent of your ability, stop using unnecessary disposable goods. If you see something, if you see something, say something. If you see something, pick it up. Recycle it. Don't use stuff you can't recycle. You can wash dishes. It's not hard and it doesn't take long. You know? Really, it's not. So, I thank you again for allowing me to be here and to share some of my love of Unity and the Fillmores, and maybe you'll get a little something to take home. Well, you'll get this to take home because the ushers are going to bring you each one, so it's recyclable. But you probably want to paste it somewhere to memorize it first. Thank you.